Hey there, Sean Terry here from Flip2Freedom.com, and we are live here Friday afternoon, and we're going to do a Q&A, talk about wholesaling houses, and plus how to work this business around your job. I did a amazing interview yesterday with a guy named Tyler Whites, which is awesome. So, what is up, everybody? Let me see if I can see. I can't see your guys' questions on here for some reason. Let me see if I can put that up. There we go. All right, so who's on here? Where are you guys from? So tell me give me an idea where you guys are coming in from. Yeah, I know the webinar dropped last night. So whoever was on the training last night, we've got it. We got it recorded, and it is coming out within hours. I'm going to send an email blast out, so for everybody. So I'm from Los Angeles, Northeast Ohio. Cool, man. Like that. Awesome, cool. Kim Banks, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. So tell me where you're from. Port St. Lucia, Florida. Cool. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. CG is watching you from Jack Bosch. What's up? Very funny, very funny. Gotta love that. No, you're supposed to be paying attention there, buddy. You're supposed to be paying attention. Okay, how do we get the forms we're talking about? I am going to, I'm going to send out the webinar here within hours. We just got it recorded, and we had to record it. It dropped. It was webinar jam. I don't know what the heck happened. It's actually, I was actually literally talking at lunch with Darren. Okay, cool. I was actually talking. I was going through the whole webinar thing. There's 50 million people on the call, and all of a sudden, boom! It just dropped. Next thing you know, it comes back on, and everybody's gone, except a handful of people. So I just finished the training, and I just kept on going. So, which is cool. Now, first off, last night I had on the call with me a guy named Tyler Whites. And really great guy. 28 or 30? No, yeah, 28 years old. This guy's 28 years old. He found my book, How to Quit Your Job in 19 Weeks or Less. Yeah, Tyler was awesome. Yeah, if you guys saw that on there, he was amazing. But the bottom line is he was on there, and he kind of explained what he did. He started out, literally he was making $12,000 a year as a bug man, right? He's a bug man making $12,000 a year on a salary, and he's making about $50,000 a year total with commissions, $60,000 a year. But he was working crazy hours, and what happened in this is that he found my book. He went to Flip2Freedom.com, found the book, and I'll actually show you what the book is that he So if you go to Flip2Freedom.com, you actually can download the same book that he read right here. Go to Flip2Freedom.com, and you can get that book there for free. He read that book. He had to actually read it twice because he didn't get it, right, the first time. He didn't understand that you could make money in real estate with having no money. So basically the bottom line is he got started. And when we talked about specifically how he did this around his job. So, because he had typically he was out on sales calls. He was a commission guy. He was running. He was hustling. He had to report his numbers. He had to report to his staff and stuff. So what he did is he woke up early, right? Now, let me give you his result first, right? His first, it took him 6 months to get his first deal. Where he made $5,000. And the story was just riveting. Wait till you see, it's amazing. But then his first year, he made over $130,000. The next year, he made over $170,000, right? And this year, he has made more than the last 2 years combined already here in June already, which is amazing. But here was one of the key points. He said, and I asked him, how did you work around your job? Okay, you have a full-time job, but now you're doing real estate. You want to do real estate. How can you do this around your job? And what he was talking about is that he had to make sacrifices. He had to make sacrifices, number one, on his sleep, right? And he had to make sacrifices on his some time with his family. So what he did is he woke up a couple hours early and he worked on his business. He worked on his Google AdWords campaigns, getting direct mailing lists, getting himself organized. Then he also came home, had dinner with his family, and then he worked right before he went, worked up till going to bed. So he had to make some sacrifices for a couple months, 6 months until he got his first check, and then he eventually quit, and then he just crushed it. He understood the process, and he's absolutely done phenomenal. He was in North Carolina. So, you're looking at this and, you're going, sacrifice. No one really wants to sacrifice, do we? We don't want to sacrifice our time. We don't want to sacrifice our sleep, but we also want to go out and achieve a certain level of success. So what I'm going to challenge you on this is what if you could say for 6 months, just for 6 months, I'm going to dedicate for 6 months and I'm going to crank it out for 6 months and just go out there and try to crank it out for 6 months. And I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to work late. I'm going to talk to my family and say, guys, I'm going to bust it out here for 6 months and then give it all to your real estate business. If you read the book and you listen, I have, if you go to Flip2Freedom.com, over 100 plus different episodes on there that you can listen to on exactly specifically, then they're free, on how to do this business. So if you sacrifice some time, and I know we don't want to sacrifice, but just put a time frame. It's almost like, taking on a diet. I'm on this, my wife and with my daughter are on this diet right here, and it's like a 25-day, 22-day, it's like diet, and you're like, listen, I can do anything for 22 days, or I can do anything for a month, or I can do anything for 2 months, right? Because it's going to get better. So what I'm challenging you is to take 3 months, 6 months, a quarter, whatever it might be, and dedicate, say, I'm going to bust it out. Maybe it's just a month. Maybe it's just a day. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and I'm going to wake up early tomorrow, and I'm going to crank it out. But here's what happened to him. He got his first check, and it changed his life. Now, the guy has got more cash in the bank. Now he's getting into fix and flip. Now he's getting into new builds. He moved out from one house in a bad neighborhood to over a 3,000 square foot house now. He gets to be there for his daughter that was born, this past year in March. He gets to be there, she's 14 months old now. So, gets to be there with their family. Which is the most important thing. So if he didn't sacrifice, it's almost like, here, I'm going to put this on the keyboard real quick, and I want to show you. I got to use my hands. But I'm going to prop this up a little bit. But here's the deal. We're at a crossroad, right? This is sacrifice is going to bring us one way, and lazy or not sacrifice is going to bring us another way. So what if he did not sacrifice? What if he didn't say, I'm going to spend some time, I'm going to bust it out? What would have happened? He could be still working his job. He could be still selling bug juice, going from door to, whatever, doing all around, selling bug juice. But no, he hasn't done that. He actually made a decision. So I know no one wants to sacrifice, and I know it's a tough subject and stuff like that, but I challenge you to do it. So here's another thing cool, and I'm going to show you real quick, is that once you get this business going, right, it's killer. It's amazing. You can literally have I've got an outside sales guy, Nate. I've got a dispositions guy who sells all the properties and handles the transaction coordination, Brandon. Awesome. These two guys are kicking. Jerry Beth handles all the phone calls, all the incoming calls, everything like that. We got virtual assistants that work with us too. Chelsea handles all the books and handles all the money and stuff like that, which is cool. But I was at Collective Genius Mastermind with Jason Medley and a bunch of killer, awesome people. People that are on the phone right now. Jack Bosch is on here. And, a bunch of other podcasters are on there as well. So I was there Monday, Tuesday, and I flew home Wednesday. We did a meetup Wednesday night, which is great. And so I came home, and on my desk were a bunch of papers, right? But a bunch of stuff. I came home with a stack of papers like this. Now, sometimes when you come home with a stack of papers, you're like, this sucks. I don't want to come home to a bunch of work, right? But look at this. Look at this. This is a sale contract on a house. Okay, that's one deal, one of the properties we sold. Here's another property that we sold, another property. Here's another property we got an option contract on with a bird dog. Another property got an option contract, and these are all smoking deals. Another contract we got an option contract on. Another one we got a contract on here. Another house that we turned around and sold, and then here's another property we got under contract. So I came home, and we've got literally all this stuff closes. We're talking $100,000, $120,000, $130,000 worth of revenue, and I was gone. I was at the Collective Genius, and it's doing and creating and building systems. It's starting it yourself. You make sacrifices. You get up and going. You start talking to sellers. And the other key point Tyler said, I don't want to take away his thunder because we're going to be sending out the replay here soon, is that he talked about, get yourself in front of sellers. The more time you can make offers, the more time you can be in front of sellers, guess what? That's where the money comes in. That's where you're actually generating revenue. Get in front of sellers. Now, before I open it up to Q&A on here, I want to, this crazy thing here. I want to, we got Slack that's going off like crazy here. Swipe your thing to the right. So if you're on your screen, take your finger and swipe to the right. If you swipe to the right there, you're going to see where you can essentially share this broadcast. So if you would please share it with whatever your audience is there, your followers and stuff. So swipe to the right, press share. I really appreciate if you did that. If you want to get the book where Flip2Freedom.com, Flip2Freedom. You can just click that link right there. You can download it for free. Cool. All right. So if you guys got some questions, if not, I'm going to keep on rambling. Any questions about your real estate business, your wholesaling business, and primarily I teach wholesaling, how to flip properties using no cash, no credit. But if you guys got questions, I am here to answer your different questions. Otherwise, we can start talking about some other stuff. Or you guys want to tell me where you're from, what market you're in. I can tell you about how your market's doing. Like I said, we just came from Collective Genius there. Hold on. Let me figure out how do you do this? Swipe up? Okay. All right. So here, you just ask that question again. Ask that question again. So if you want to ask that question, it came through. You actually have to swipe the top up. There it goes. What do I do if I can't afford out to send yellow letters? Great question. And the other one is, Sean, my yellow letter response is terrible. Okay, so here's the thing. Hold question. So what do I do if I can't afford to send out yellow letters, right? Then what I did when I started, when I was first broke, right, had no cash. It was terrible in a bad situation. What I did was I got a list, right? And on this webinar training, I actually show you a killer list. It's actually ReboGateway.com, and I actually give you a contact. He waives all the fees for you. You can get tax default list, divorce list, absentee owner list. So it is a phenomenal, high converting list. You actually can pull tax default of people in foreclosure, right? And it's a small list, right? In Phoenix, it's like 400 names, 300 names. You can narrow down very, very tight, and you can get that list, and it's incredibly cheap. I think they charge for 2 counties, it's like $300 a year for 2 counties. You can download as much as you want. Ridiculous, right? So that's ReboGateway.com, and on the webinar, I actually give you the name of the guy. Actually, I could probably go get it now. Hold on. Actually, I got the little sticky note of the guy right here. I want you to call. Okay, so it's Rebo Gateway. You can check in your computer. The name's John Harkar, and his number is 866-887-0260, 866-877-0260, 866-887-0260, extension 124. And tell him that Sean Terry sent you, and he will waive any type of setup fee and get you up and going. And you can pull, here's the list. It's a tax default list of people that are non-owner occupant or investors that are in foreclosure. Okay, so they're losing their house to foreclosure, they haven't paid their taxes, and they're out-of-state investors. That's a sick list. A sick list. Now, it's going to be pretty tight, pretty small, but I'm telling you, that list converts. So back to your question. How do you do it with a minimal budget? You get that small list, and then you hand write letters. You hand write letters right there. Do you give, cause do you spread between, hold on. Juan T, hold on one second. Let me get this question. I'll answer this question. I need to be able to snap a picture of these questions because they fade away. But Juan T, hold on that one question real quick. So handwrite letters. Handwrite them from your kitchen table. All you need is one deal. Once you get one deal, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, then you reinvest 15% back into marketing, and then guess what? Boom! Now you continue to scale. You make 3,000, you reinvest 15%. You make 5,000, you reinvest 15%. You make 10,000, you reinvest 15% back into marketing. And if you continue to do that as you grow, what's the number again? John Hauer, Harkar, and it's 866-887-0206, extension 124. So that's Rebo Gateway. This is where you get your tax default, and you can tie it with and they even give you phone numbers. Not on all of them, but on some of them they actually give you. So you can call the actual seller. Call them up. But these would be great to knock on doors, right? If you get a small list and if it's 100, 150 named, go knock on their door and say, hey, you know what? I know your house in foreclosure. I'd like to see if I can help you out before it goes to sale. That's a hot lead. They may go, okay, what can you do? Well, guess what? We can pay cash and close quickly. We can do seller finance. There's a bunch of different things you can do. So 866, my fault, 866-887-0206, extension 124, and ask for John. And make sure you tell him that I sent you, otherwise he's not going to give you the waive, the discount, or any of that type of stuff. Anyways, so that's ReboGateway.com. So now one question, how do I do it? Handwrite the letters, or guess what? Get the list and go knock on the door. I started knocking on doors. I started just handwriting the letters from my table. Now, what about response? So your guy, one guy said my yellow letter response is terrible. Well, maybe it's your list, right? If you're hitting a list that everybody else is hitting and they're all using yellow letters, right? Guess what? It's going to suck. It's going to suck. But guess what? If you change it up, do postcards, then do yellow letters, and you get a very highly targeted list like we just talked about, guess what? Your response is going to go up. It's going to go up. All right, so what other questions you got? Now, Juan T, I know you asked a question, but it popped up and I was in the middle, so ask another question if you could. If you guys got any more questions. Good point. Yeah, definitely. That makes a big difference. How's the Houston market? On fire. I was just at the Collective Genius. Their guys killing it out there. Houston's on fire, so crank it out there. Send your letters out, and start talking to sellers. Like I said, being in front of the sellers is the most important thing. Okay, if you're in front of sellers, that's the most important thing you can do, because when you're talking to sellers, because here's the thing, you can get leads from the MLS, right? You can get, or start making offers on the MLS if you want to do that. That's another whole thing. But there's a lot of competition. HUD Homes. You can make offers on HUD Homes. I've done MLS. I've done HUD Homes. They both are effective way to turn around and get deals, but there is more competition. Prices are bidding up. The bottom line is, in this particular situation, the margins become tighter. So you make $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 deals, but you want to make the monster deals where you make $2,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever, $50,000 on a deal. You've got to learn to go direct to seller. Okay, so if we're going to talk about the top ways to get people, tax default list, right? Now it comes direct mail, targeting out. Now you can go to the seller and you can knock on the door like we talked about, or direct mail. Well, tax default is a ridiculous list. Tax default and pre-foreclosure is a great list. Inheritance list, you can go to usleadlist.com, usleadlist.com. And those are strictly inheritance, okay? usleadlist.com. That's a little bit more expensive to be able to buy an inheritance list. But the cool thing about Rebo Gateway that I was just telling you about, you can pull a probate list. You can pull a probate list, okay, off there, which is killer. Now, I have no affiliation with Rebo Gateway at all. I just use them, and I want you guys to become successful, of course. So, and I know the list converts. It converts well for us. So that's Rebo Gateway. This is where I want to give 5% to an organization like a charitable organization. That's good. I believe in tithing 100%. Tithing is a key, critical component to, first off, obeying God, number one, and number two, it's incredibly important for success principles. So if you're not familiar with what tithing is where you give, the Bible says 10% of everything that comes in the door. And there's this whole question about, do I give net or gross? And I'm gross, 10% on gross, whatever comes in my doors, I give 10% on. But I give it to church, multiple different churches. Anything above and beyond 10% is considered alms, above and beyond that. So if you wanted to give it to an organization, give it to a church, give it to a charitable organization that you believe in, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Wondering where else you may give. Primarily it's church. I primarily give to a church, and I do that just because it's the right thing to do. I guess it's changed my life. Let me tell you a real quick story. I used to have tithing as a very critical part of my life. And I kind of got away from it, and I made a ton of money in 2005 when the market was crazy. I had 120 properties, $36 million worth, and ended up selling them all. I had money coming in left and right. And it was crazy. It was insane. And then 2006 came. I invested a ton of money in land, which was, that was my smart move, was selling the properties. My dumb move was, actually, turning around and buying land. That was a dumb move because I was getting over my head. I thought I was a big shot, but I was a dummy, right? So I was buying land as the market was going down. That's a bad move. You usually buy land when the market crashes, and then you can entitle it as the market goes up and sell into the market. So the bottom line is in Abundance Mindset. Yes, you got Go Givers. That's a great book if you read that book, The Go Giver. So what happened was I had all this money that was invested in land. I was completely illiquid. Then 2008 came. I literally burned through all my cash. All my money's tied up in land. And I'm going, holy cow, I'm screwed. I have no cash flow. I got away from wholesaling. I got away from flipping houses. And I found myself completely stuck. And I was stuck in a situation where I had no cash coming in. I had cash would need to be going out for different projects we're doing, and the well was dry. There was nothing left. To the point where I couldn't pay my car payment, right? I was behind on my own house payment. I was behind. It was just 2008. It was terrible. Washington Mutual crashed. Phoenix was like a bloodbath, man. There was like home builders out of business, investors out of business, foreclosures. It was like insane here. It was nuts. And I was one of those casualties. Well, just came in. So 2008 happened, and I found myself in a very, very, very tough situation where I was had no cash flow coming in, and I was illiquid. So at that point in time, I'm stuck. What do I do? My father-in-law gave me the book, and thanks. I started prioritizing after I had your podcast last year. Cool. So basically, I got this book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success, and I actually started tithing, and it changed everything. I started tithing like $20, then $200, then $50, then $300. It's just scaled to where now it's just part of my life and part of my business. But it's amazing where things happen where literally money was an issue. Now money is not an issue because of that belief and because of tithing and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So what are the questions you guys got? Any other questions out there about real estate wholesaling? What about overcoming fear? Right? If you look at one of the previous recordings, Corey Boatwright and I was it Monday or Tuesday? We're out at the Torrey Pines golf course, and we're walking down the golf course talking about fear, and how fear is something we project into the future, and we have all this anticipation of what we might think will happen, but it essentially doesn't. Ever realize you paid too much? Buyers became scarce to me on 2 current deals. Okay, so your question: what happens if you have a deal and you overestimate the ARV, underestimate the repairs, and you get in a property that's too tight? There's a couple things you can do. Number one, right, is you can go back with the seller and renegotiate. Okay, you're in a tough situation. You put it out to the market. What our protocol is that if we put it out to the market and we don't have something within a couple weeks, then the price isn't right. 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, then we're going to start slashing our price and then working to get offers from sellers. From buyers. So what we'll do is we'll solicit our buyers, the people that had interest in the property, and we'll say, listen, give us a price. Theoretically, let's say we have a contract for $100,000, and $100,000 doesn't work, right? $100,000 with that deal does not work. So what do? So in this particular case, we had it for 2 weeks. It's sitting there on the shelf. It's like stale, and we can't sell it. We have our marketing out. So what essentially we're going to do is we're going to go out to our buyers and say, listen, we know you had interest in the property. $100,000 doesn't work. We're going to go back and renegotiate with the seller. What number will work for you? What's the highest and best you can pay for this? So we're going to solicit offers from our buyers on this particular property. So a buyer comes in and they say, I can do $10,000, or I can do $90,000, I can do $93,000, I can do $85,000. Whatever the number is, get the highest and best and make sure that they can commit right there on the spot. Make sure that they can commit. They can say, okay, listen, if they're going to say $90,000, you say, great. If I can get this deal done at $90,000, are you ready to write a contract and close this sucker by next Friday? Because I'm going to use your offer as negotiating tool with the seller so I can get this deal done. What I don't want to do is tell you I can get it done at $90,000 and you go, well, I'm going to have second thoughts. So are you in or are you out? And what that's going to do is now get a commitment from your buyer. I would even go as far as getting an actual purchase contract subject to you on there having them, obviously subject to negotiation of the seller. If you do that with your buyer, then now you have them under contract and boom, you're set. Now, let's say you have a $100,000 property with the seller, and then you now have an offer for $90,000 from your buyer. Solicit that first. Now you go back to your seller and take all the objections that you've heard from your buyers. The comps are down in the area, the roof needs repair, the foundation's cracked, the plumbing is old, the neighborhood sucks, or whatever the case may be. So what you're doing now is you're going now, okay, all those different things that come in from your buyers that they're using against you to negotiate price. Now you can then go back and use that against your seller, to negotiate with your seller. So now you go back to the seller and say, listen, I've tried to make this thing work at $100,000. We cannot get it done. I cannot get a commitment to funding, get the sucker closed at $100,000. So we have two different options, Mr. Seller. Either A, we can reduce it down to $85,000. I know that's a big chunk, but the bottom line is the roof needs repaired, the plumbing needs repairs, the foundation's cracked, needs more repairs. You're regurgitating all that same information from your buyers to your seller. Make sense? So now you go back down. I would even go as low as 80 because there's going to be negotiation back and forth. But you can say, listen, $85,000, I can get this. If you can commit to $80,000, we can do this. I can do this thing and get it closed by next Friday, right? Whatever the day is. Like today's Friday, I can close it by next Friday. If you can't, right, then I'm going to have to cancel. I'm sorry. And I don't want to cancel, but I don't want to tie you up any longer. I got a commitment to get this sucker closed by next Friday so where you can get cash in your pocket, but it's going to be at $85,000. What do you want to do? So now you're giving them, so now they're going, well, I can wait and try to get my price, right? Or I can get it closed. Now, we've done this on multiple occasions when we have a property that we tend to contract too high. And in that particular case, when we do that, we have to go back and renegotiate. Okay. Otherwise you're going to blow up the deal. Now, what if the seller says no? It's just not going to work. Then you go, what's the absolute rock bottom minimum you'll take? And they're going to say, well, the rock bottom minimum is 93. Then you go back to your buyer and say, listen, I talked to the seller. Their rock bottom minimum is 95. If you can do 95, it's a done deal, but we got to close it by next Friday. At least now you took a dead deal, right? And you squeezed out a couple $1,000s out of the deal, which could pay for marketing, could pay for AdWords for a day or a week or whatever the number is. It could pay for mail or direct mail, whatever the case may be. You made something out of nothing. So it gives you the ability to start negotiating. Now, what if the seller says yes? then you have an addendum right there on the spot, ready to go, ready to fill out, ready to done. You put in the number, you have them sign it, you have an addendum, and then you're good to go. How many pages are your buyer's contracts? 2 pages. So our buyer's contracts are if there's 2 different things. If we're purchasing the property from the seller, our contract's 2 pages. If we're selling the property to our buyers, it's 3 pages. It's a 2-page contract and a 1-page addendum, which literally eliminates all their contingencies. Yeah, definitely do that on there. It eliminates all the contingencies. So yeah. Can you give a quick explanation of how you explain what you do to sellers, please? Give it what we do to sellers. I'm going to give you a. Where is that link? No. Okay, I'm going to give you a link you can go to right now, and you can download my purchase contract with sellers, purchase contract with buyers, and my simple strategic seller script. So it's a script you use with sellers, right? So, and it'll basically explain exactly what we talked about. So go to Flip2Freedom, www.flip2freedom.com/ all lowercase free stuff, one word. So www.flip2freedom.com/ all lowercase free, FREE, stuff, STUFF.com. Go there. You can download that. It's the contract. It's the script. It's everything. Do your buyers always close in 7 days with cash? Yes, unless we hold up the transaction. All of our contracts, and you'll see in our B2C contract, I'll show you what the page looks like. It looks like that right there. So, free download, AB contract, BC contract, simple contract right there. And there is the URL, flip2freedom.com / flip2freedom.com / free stuff. Free stuff. And that's what it looks like. And you can download that free, which is cool. All right. So you can do that if you want. Cool. Any other questions? I like this. Do you guys like this Periscope thing? This is it feels like intimate, doesn't it? It feels like we're talking, you're asking questions, going back and forth. I kind of like. I'm gonna do more of these Periscope thing. I love Periscope. I know, me too. It's funny. I was watching like Oprah Winfrey. She's in the background and walking around. Yeah, it is like a mini podcast. I love the 100K wholesaler. Appreciate it. That was awesome. God bless you too, man. Cool. Yeah, it's it's great. It's this whole business is about first getting your first check, then learning your systems in place to get more deals coming in. What's the best marketing outlets to grow from 2 deals to 5 to 7? Okay. But do you usually close on your HUD deals in a week? Well, let me ask you the first question. I'll do the HUD one thing. So how do you go from 2 to 5 to 7 deals, right? How do you go from 2 deals to 5 to 7 deals? So that's a great question. 2 deals to 5 to 7 deals, what's going to take the process? The number one thing is you've got to, and now to go to 5 to 7, it's very difficult for it to be a one-man show to be able to do it. So you can go to, myoutdesk.com, myoutdesk.com. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, let me show you what the site looks like. But what these guys do, that's what the site looks like. And there's a domain right there for you. myoutdesk.com right there. What these guys do, real estate virtual assistants. It's pretty cool. It's real estate virtual assistants. So your first hire is going to be someone that is going to take all the incoming calls and they're going to put them into Podio. Okay, that's your first hire. Now, what you're going to do in that particular point is they're going to take all the calls and they're going to book appointments for you, and you're going to go on appointments. They're going to make offers, you're going to go on appointments, and you're going to deal with transaction coordination and selling the properties. So you have to do that. To do 2 to 3 deals a month, you can pretty much do it by yourself. To go 5 to 7, you need to hire a virtual assistant. Now, these guys are like $8.60 an hour, which is fairly cheap, where you can, it's like $1,300 a month, which is cheap. But they know real estate, they know CRMs, and they can put your stuff in there. So here's the deal. Once you hire that person, now you can add more marketing on. And what your job is now is to go on double and triple the amount of appointments you go on. And you have to manage your day like I did when I first started. And I was like, had someone answer phone. I had Monday, Wednesday, Friday were the days that I did appointments. And I did appointments all day. I did 10 o'clock. I did one at noon. I did one at, 2 o'clock. I did one at up till 6, 7, whatever. I was pumping out appointments. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I took appointments all day long. Tuesday, Thursday is when I did all my admin work. I followed up. I got the contracts. I did all the stuff with title. I got all the paperwork over, and I cranked it. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday were my days that I went on appointments. So now you can crank out a bunch of appointments. If you go on 15 appointments a week, 10 appointments a week, and you come back with 3 or 4 contracts, now you're getting 2 to 3 contracts a week, which now you're going to get up to 5 or 7. Right? 4 weeks a month, 2 contracts a week. Now you get 8 contracts. Maybe one doesn't sell. The other ones do sell. Now you're at your 7. Now, to be able to get the amount of leads coming in, you're going to have to increase your marketing to more different channels. And now, I remember the first time I mailed out 5,000 mailers, right? And I was like, wow, 5,000 mailers. I went from 1,000 to 5,000. That was a big jump for me. I was like, wow, 5,000 postcards, 5,000 mailers. And then I spoke to a guy, and he was mailing over 120,000 units every quarter at one time. He dropped 120,000 units. And I go, I'm a schmuck. I'm a loser. I'm sending 5, and I'm think I'm big stuff. And hey, we're great. We're sending 5. We're doing 5 to 7 deals. When I made a decision, I said, I'm not sending 5,000 a month. I'm going to send 100,000. So what I did was I went out and I got a list, compiled a list, and I sent out 100,000 mailers all at once, right? We had no CRM. It was me. I had one sales guy and a girl answering the phone. It was insane. Our phone, you want to see a phone melt? Send 100,000 mailers, right, a month, and your phone will melt. Do you have a program out to outsource your local area deals to your email list, or do you Phoenix only? Do I have a program I outsource local? I pretty much just market here. We do parts of a little bit of Southern California, a little bit of Vegas, but right now it's just primarily my main marketing efforts are here. There. So, anyways, the bottom line is 100,000 mailers. It was like we're like swamped. So I encourage you, if you want to go from 2 deals to 5 to 7 deals, you got to increase. Think about it. You're doubling or even tripling your amount of deals. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Our deals to your list. I'll talk about it in a second. So if you're going to triple your leads or deals, you have to triple your marketing. If you're doing 1,000, do 3,000. If you're doing 2,000, do 6. Right? Triple your marketing efforts, and then make sure you have a person that can answer the call so nothing's falling through the cracks and you can crank it. All right, so you mean postcards, not 100K yellers. No, yeah, that's right. We sent postcards. That's correct, yes. We sent 100,000 postcards. Yes. All right, so now your question is, yes, we have... you can, if you're part of the Flip2Freedom Academy, we actually have a deal submission basically inside of Flip2Freedom Academy that you can submit deals. They'll come to us and we'll sell them through our national buyers list, right? And we'll help you through the process and help sell them through the national buyers list. But I encourage you to try to market it yourself. Your goal is to build your own buyers list. Your goal is to build your own, so you don't need that. But what we do is we sell to our national buyers and we split profits 50-50 for any deals across the entire country. And we do a bunch of them. So it's pretty cool. So cool. Any more questions? Questions? It's all rainy here. Look at this. Look at this place here. It's like it's all nasty, and look at that. yucky, rainy outside here. Pretty. It's all like wet, and I have I got a buddy of mine who has his daughters. There are always a little inspection. Are there always title inspections to close deals? Are there title inspections to close deals? Title inspections. You close. Okay. Show us the office. Are there title inspections to close deals? Title inspections. You always want to get a title report to know if there's anything on title that could screw it up, right? So you definitely want to know that. If there's liens against the property, if there's any issues, there's child, what do they call them? Child, whatever liens, on the property. Brain's going blank. Yes. So the bottom line is you got to do a title search on a property for sure. Do we close HUD deals in 1 week? No. Typically, HUD takes us about 30 days to close those HUD deals. So let me show you the office here. So this right here is just our meeting room right here. There's my computer. What we do is this is where we do our meetings. This is Monday morning meetings. If any coaching students come in here, anything like that. They sit here and then we put all the information up on the plasma. They are saying they need to make sure the value matches the purchase price. I've never heard of that before. In 1 week. Anyways, this is our 80-inch plasma. That's my desk over there, which is cool. And now this is a pretty cool little complex right here, if you can see. Yeah, this is it's all rainy there, but they have cool restaurants. They have inside there, they have pretty killer stuff. Need title inspection. Ask that question again. This is my little light right here. Got to have the American flag. I'll go in here. This is Chelsea in her messy desk. Chelsea on the phone. So she does all the technical support. There is Falcon. He's the MLS. He hits all of our MLS deals, which are cool. Here's our kitchen. Kitchen. Yeah, we're working on getting that. Cool things. Here's my record podcasts in here. It's like a podcast closed door recording room, which is cool. I'm getting new couches for this thing. Got the big thing right there. I'll show you Jerry Beth after there's Jerry Beth!
Hi!
She rocks the phones.
That's what I do.
How's it going? This is her office. The lights are off. There's Brandon's office. He's out showing stuff. So, yeah. The office on there, which is pretty cool. So we like it. We can add a bunch of more people here as we grow. So when are the podcasts coming back? Soon, very soon. This is where the annual seminar. No, that's going to be coming up in October. Yep, that's right. October. What was that? Ask that last question again. I missed it because I was putting down this thing. Are you the Michael Scott of The Office? Michael Scott? Who's Michael Scott? See, my wife, I hear a song on the radio, right? And I ask, who's that? And she's like, what are you, live under a rock? Yeah, yes, The Office. Oh, yeah, The Office. I got it. Yes. I am the Michael Scott of The Office. What is the free stuff page? I did enter free stuff pages showing into unavailable. Laugh out loud. Right. So cool. Cool. All right. Well, I got to get back to work. So thank you so much. This will be on replay for you. And again, thank you. I'm going to check out for now. Yes, the podcast will be back up. We're going to get these video back up for that training. Go to Flip2Freedom.com. Go here. You can download the book for free. Cool. Sean, I just made 30 grand last month. Killer. Boom, boom. There it is. Flip2Freedom. Go there. You can sign up. Flip2Freedom.com. You can go there and you can get them. And I will see you, right, on the next one of our Periscope trainings. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have an awesome weekend. Be safe. And God bless.